Hey, welcome back to the Big Ranch Show. Thank you for joining me. Now, earlier this week, of course, we got a new president here in the United States, and on day one and two, for sure, Joe Biden was busy with executive orders and other policy changes that he wanted to try to help America. You may not agree with all of them, but it's what he did. He did some 17 executive orders on his first half day in office. And one of those executive orders out of those first 2 days was an executive order putting an end to the construction of the XL pipeline. The Keystone XL pipeline. A pipeline that ran through native lands that we had guaranteed their safety through treaty. Safety to food and water. The thing is, the Keystone pipeline violated that by the risk that it gave to the groundwater in the area. Parts of this lovely pipeline have already failed, have already spilled thousands of barrels of oil onto American soil, contaminating the soil and the water below. Back during the Obama administration, environmental impact statements had shown that this would have a negative effect on the wildlife and the people of the area. It should have never been approved in the first place, but it was one of the first things the previous administration did. And so there are a lot of people angry, especially on the right, and those people that see oil as their future or as their job. And I understand that there are people that will lose their jobs over this. And I feel bad for that. I do. But the fact is, the U.S. was taking all the risk and getting none of the reward for the oil that was going to go through this pipeline. The tar sands oil out of Canada. The problem with tar sands oil is it is thicker, harder to clean up, and more of an ecological disaster when it spills. We have seen this in a number of places where this oil has already been sent through. There's already parts of the pipeline built. But here's the thing. Yeah, some of the businesses were going to see some money from it, but none of that oil was ever going to hit our gas tanks, because it was being sent to basically the Houston, Galveston area. It was going to be refined and then sent to China. And then the company in Canada was going to reap all the rewards, minus whatever they have to pay the refinery to refine it. There are even reports that it may not even be being refined in Houston, but just loaded onto the ship and sent to China in its raw form. And let me be clear. This was not ever going to be a long-term job creator in America. The people who were wanting this thing built, I believe it's TransCanada. The same people that, basically helped blow up that rig down in the Gulf. They said years ago that there would only be a handful, maybe a dozen people that would still be on staff after it was built. And that 90% of those jobs would go to Canadians, not Americans. Because those jobs would just be for maintenance, to make sure that it's not leaking. They guaranteed us that the Keystone pipeline would not leak. That's what the company guaranteed us. That it was the safest, most technologically advanced pipeline to ever be built. Within 6 months of oil going through any portions of it, it failed, creating an ecological disaster. If you ask me, it needs to be stopped. And I hate the fact that it's going to lose jobs and cost people jobs. And if the government is going to shut it down, then those people do need help. You need to be able to allow them help to cover their mortgage, their food, until they can get another job. And I understand that a lot of people on the right are angry about it. But the thing is, they're not understanding the ecological impacts that this is going to have. They're not thinking about the impacts on people's lives. They don't care about the native tribes that are out there going to be getting their water and their land destroyed. Land that by treaty the U.S. government is supposed to protect for them, to keep the water clean and the land livable and usable. That being the case, I don't think Joe Biden had another choice on a moral level. So you can be mad about it all you want, but it can't continue. And people are going to be like, but Jake, what about the oil? How's it going to get through? How are they going to... They already have pipelines for that. There's no need to spread it over more land. They just wanted to be able to spread a higher volume from one part of the world to the other so they could get it there faster. So think what you will. Be mad if you want. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. It should have never been allowed. The impact to the environment was going to be immense if it was to continue. So those people that lost their job are losing their jobs over this, I'm sorry. And hopefully you can there's another job for you. But there is a point where we have to balance progress with ecological safety. So you can get mad at me, you can flame me all you want in the comments, say whatever the hell you want. Call me a tree hugger, call me a bleeding heart liberal, call me whatever you want. I don't care. This should have never been approved in the first place. It was approved by the previous administration in spite of the one that came before it. And no, I'm not blaming anybody here. I'm not even blaming the previous president. I'm just saying he's the one that approved it. I understand why he did it. He did it because he was trying to be supportive of the oil and gas industry. I, for one, am not a huge supporter of the oil and gas industry. Mostly because of the way they destroy the environment. If you're okay with that, then fine, cry about it. Whine, bitch, moan. I don't care. But I believe saving the water in the area, especially for the native tribes that are there, maintaining the safety of the land and the water, those people deserve something to drink and eat. The people on the reservations, they have enough. There's enough problems on the reservations than to poison their water too. And not to mention, the federal government was tasked with caring for that land to make sure that it was clean. So if you want to be upset about it, that's great. Be upset about it. But I don't see it changing anytime soon. Anyhow, this has been the Big Ranch Show. I've been your host, Jacob Keck, and I'll see you down the road.